Welcome to Defeat Your Cravings, hosted by Dr. Glenn Livingston, PhD. Glenn has held his doctorate in psychology for more than 30 years and is also a former multi-million-dollar consultant to the big food industry and uses his experience to help you defeat your cravings. This show will help you to focus on dramatically reducing cravings and leave the diet mentality behind, so you can more easily and effortlessly achieve your health, fitness, and body composition goals. Please remember, no doctor-patient relationship is created via this show, and you are responsible for confirming any changes to your diet, health, or psychological routines with an appropriately licensed professional before implementing them. Now, before we get started, if you haven't yet downloaded the free smartphone app to access dozens of these recordings all in one place, as well as to avail yourself of a confidential community for support, motivation, and assistance, please visit the podcast link on defeatyourcravings.com as soon as possible. And now, here's your host, Dr. Glenn Livingston.
Hey, it's the very good Dr. Glenn Livingston. I'm here with a kind-hearted woman named Sarah, who has agreed to allow me to record her story so that you can all benefit from her experience and strength and observations and wisdom, as well as her trials and tribulations and difficulties. So, Sarah, how are you today?
I'm really great. Thank you.
So, why don't we start at the beginning? Could you tell me where the problem started?
At childhood, like most, my family used food very emotionally and celebratory. Just always seemed like food was our love language. And it's hard to separate from that when you love your family. And I come from such an amazing, supportive, in a lot of ways, idyllic family. My parents are together. I had a lot of friends growing up that kind of jealous of our family home life. And sometimes you can do a baby bathwater thing, but accepting everything as opposed to, well, no, you should get rid of that. So sometimes dealing with my pig feels a bit like a rejection of my parents, which I don't want to do. I don't want to reject them. So I had to come to terms with to separate out that I love them dearly and I'll never pay them back for everything I got. But nobody's perfect, and that's one thing that I can do different without any disrespect to how I was raised or them as people. So I kind of came to that as a light bulb moment, actually.
That's actually a brilliant way to say it, because I was just going to say something like that. But if you were raised by a very loving family and you have all these loving and warm memories associated with food, there's no reason you have to give up those memories, even though you know intellectually as an adult that you don't want to keep associating that with the food.
Yes. It was a lifetime thing, and it was within our family structure and behavior and patterns. So as I became an independent adult, honestly, weight's something my mom struggled with. Weight probably creeped into my identity in adolescence as she started putting my sister and myself on diets. And the roller coaster started there as far as just being on one and then getting off and then trying a different one and feeling like there was just some sort of magic key formula that everybody else had that we didn't have, and always searching for the next external structure to adopt, some diet methodology. And I think the biggest appeal was it didn't have anything to do with that. It didn't have anything to do with adopting your methodology for what to eat. It was really dealing with me separating myself from the pig. So that was the biggest appeal when I stumbled on the book on Amazon. And I did well intellectually understanding. And I even got the workbook at one point, and I walked myself through the workbook. And then I just felt like I just wanted more consistent feedback and more accountability. So I did the June intensive program.
How did that work out?
Excellently. It's July now. I don't know when this would air, but it's July now that we're talking. So I'm in month 2, and I have finished all the Master Challenge tasks. And I found the Master Challenge tasks to be incredibly insightful, as well as the daily accountability. I found myself, as I was writing and being prompted to think about things in lots of different ways. I mean, it's like we're just going to cage that pig and we're going to put 9 different walls around it and a roof and a basement and a vault under that and then steel trap doors. I mean, we're caging that thing from every angle with every material known to man. And I think that's what makes it so successful beyond just the book or the workbook is you're getting the benefit of all these layers and all the ways, just plugging up all the holes, the loopholes the pig might have and think of. I listen to the podcast a ton, and each time I would listen to one, it's like I gained another pearl of wisdom, right, on this necklace. But doing the coaching program for myself, it's like now the pearl of wisdoms were coming from me, and I probably got as many pearls from myself going through the reflective processes as I did cumulatively from all the podcasts.
Oh, wow.
In this coaching process, you get a double string of pearls of wisdom and more tools in your toolbox. So one thing as I was writing that I kind of realized, for me anyway, I felt like somebody's in the cage. It's going to be me or it's going to be the pig. It isn't a matter of whether the pig is in the cage or the cage is empty. That cage is not ever going to be empty. Somebody's going to be a slave to somebody else. And there's never going to be a partnership. There's never going to be a balance. You're never going to strike a deal with the pig to come out of the cage, but play in a corner. Like, one of us is going to be in the cage, and the only freedom there is for the pig to be in there and me not.
So either you're a master of your impulses or you're a slave to your impulses.
Absolutely. So that was kind of a light bulb for me. Some of my favorite podcasts that I listen to, this first one, I've listened to it several times. I downloaded it on my phone so that I could listen to it multiple times. There was a podcast you did with Howie Jacobson about when he looked into people that had long-term successful weight loss. What was different about them than the people who haven't been able to be successful yet? And there was like 6 things, and that was just a huge takeaway from me. I mean, it was like a buffet of information.
What was the biggest takeaway from that study? Do you remember?
It was, the biggest. I really like them all, but I think one of the biggest was, instead of using an event that you may consider yourself to be weak at, so maybe it's a family dinner, maybe it's a holiday, maybe it's going to a bar with friends or the workroom during a birthday cake sharing moment, like, instead of avoiding it and thinking this is how I conquer the pig, is I just am not able to do those things. Instead of that, you say, no, this is where I'm going to really up my game. I'm going to go, and I'm not going to succumb. I'm not going to use this as an excuse. I'm going to rise above, and I'm going to put shoes on instead of trying to carpet the world and just avoid everything. I'm going to elevate my game. And in doing so, I'm going to model for other people also that it's possible.
I love this.
With my family who has weight struggles, and not say anything about weight, but just practice what I'm preaching without any words of preaching, and just truly be the person, because I really am that person. I really am a healthy eater now. And I'm not going to just go, well, but with my family, I can't quite make it work. Or with my family, I never have been, so I'm just going to revert. And that really helped me when it came to being with my family, when it came to things like travel or vacation.
Say it again.
My biggest takeaway was realizing the opportunities that might look like a pitfall waiting to happen, and I might initially want to just avoid those events completely, actually can become a catalyst for being even more who I am as a healthy eater, and using it as an opportunity to illustrate and model healthy eating for other people without saying a word. I mean, not from a pedestal or anything, just that instead of trying to avoid, I can use that to be stronger. Just like if you're exercising, you continually set goals to do more reps or run further or lift heavier weights. Like, this needs to be who I am 365, you know?
I love it. What other pearls of wisdom did you come to for yourself that you've been sitting with on a day-to-day basis that have been helping you?
I have like a task app on my phone that kind of just making sure I get all the little things done in a day or every week or whatever. And at the very top, I've put in an I am statement, like I am, so that this eating becomes not, like you said, a matter of will, it becomes a matter of characters. I've heard you say, I am becoming the kind of person who, I just was like, nah, I am that. I'm not becoming them. I am. I was like, I'm just going to bring it even to the present. I am.
Sarah, will you be my new best friend? That's amazing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Done deal.
That's terrific. I love that. What else?
There was a podcast I listened to. I wish I could remember the name. She talked about that we're enough as we are. No performance necessary. And that was huge.
Oh, the Enoughness lady. Yeah, that was one of my first podcasts. I forgot about her. I want to go back and listen to that. Yeah.
Then recently, at least recently for me, I'm not sure the original timing of it, but I recently listened to a podcast with somebody that talked about cognitive dissonance and the fact that we've got to own a new image of ourselves. Otherwise, it's just like the myth of Sisyphus. We're constantly going to be rolling a ball uphill to be crushed by it on the way back down if we don't believe that we are that healthy person, or if we're harboring some negative feeling towards thin people, then we're going to run into some self-imposed barriers. We may not even be aware that they're there, but if we're approaching a goal of being thin, but somewhere in us that we're harboring some negativity towards thin people, because before maybe we haven't been, that it sets up division within ourselves that we're not comfortable with, and we'll solve it. But unless we take a proactive stance on solving it, it could go against us.
You need to see those as pig squeals in and of themselves.
Yeah.
Thin people aren't nice people. Thin people aren't deserving. All those skinny bitches out there, they're the real problem. If you're thinking like that, you have to understand that's a pig squeal that's preventing you from getting thin.
Absolutely. So I really love the piece about cognitive dissonance. And then very early on in the coaching seminars, I might have been the first night, I forget the name of the assistant you had in June.
Lori?
Yeah, Lori, she stepped on and she said one thing that helped her is that, you don't have to wait until you've lost 5, 10, or however much your goal weight is to start looking at yourself differently in the mirror. And I did. And I'm not at my goal weight. It's going to be a minute before I get there. And that's fine. I really am fine with that, because there's been so many other blessings along the way that I wasn't even looking for. I didn't even anticipate. It's kind of like night blindness or something. Being so obsessed and addicted to food meant that my brain's palate wasn't able to taste anything else in life that was small or subtle or natural or just more quaint.
Like what?
Like floating in a pool and feeling a breeze and thinking the water under me is cool and the sun above me is warm and this is a little oasis and I get to be here. I'm not at work. I get time off in a day to literally be as lazy as it gets, as to just lounge and lay in a pool and notice these little moments and blessings, and the way the breeze smells like honeysuckle. I mean, little stuff. But my day is so full of it now, because it's like my palate and my mind isn't so consumed with food and food thoughts. I have all these little blessings, like just watching my dogs play or playing a game with my kids and actually enjoying it and enjoying their childishness and their banter, and not thinking to myself, I'm hungry, I want a snack, but I can't have one. I'm bored because I'm waiting for my turn and my mind's immediately obsessed about food. I can be present.
It sounds like you've learned how to be exquisitely present.
Yeah.
It dwarfs the experience of eating a Twinkie or having a war with the bagel and losing, right? It just dwarfs that experience. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you said, they're like excitotoxins and they're like hypercharged, and no wonder there's not room in my brain for anything else, especially smelling the roses kind of stuff. So
giving a lot of deep thought to all this. I want to make sure I'm giving you a chance to say everything that you've been thinking about, because it's very valuable.
Can't quite think of anything else. I just cannot emphasize enough how much more there can be gained from the coaching program than meets the eye that you could ever put in an advertisement. And I would encourage anybody that's interested or anybody that maybe is doing it, you're also going to get out of it what you put into it. So I would just say, suck the marrow out of every exercise and really know that the benefit there is what you put into it and how vulnerable you're willing to get, how true you're willing to get with yourself, and it's available. There's nobody that is immune from or would have any barrier to benefiting from the program other than getting out of their own way.
What if they don't think it's going to work for them? What if they think it's going to work for people like you or me, but they don't think it's going to work for them?
I know from being on the Facebook boards and from listening to people talk, I didn't speak up in any of the seminars. From listening to other people, I mean, it's not full of people like me. I can tell it's full of people from all over the world, all ages, all genders, all races, all socioeconomic groups, all generations, and there's no stereotype to this. There's no stereotype to anybody who's affected by a pig, and there's nobody that can't benefit from the program. And I mean, I understand the financial commitment may give pause, but obviously, well, at least in the past anyway, you've offered the satisfaction guarantee.
We always will. I think we always will.
Yeah, there's no risk. There's nothing that makes this too complicated for somebody. You can take it at your own pace. If the tasks are too much for you in a week, you can take 2 weeks to do the tasks and spread them out for yourself however you need to. The coaches are wonderful people who care about this.
They've been through it themselves. They have to have the same struggles that we did. And yeah. How much money did you spend on binging before?
Oh, that's tough. And I did do the worksheet, but I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Obviously, like most people, I quote unquote wasted money binging in 2 ways. One, on actual binge food, and then on the other end, products that I thought would basically make up for the fact that I had just eaten all that crap. The supplements and the diet drinks and powders and formulas probably ended up costing more than the food itself in the first place. And I would say probably $10,000 a year.
Wow. Do you have to use those things anymore?
No. I am kind of curious because I understand you are not a medical
I'm not a medical doctor. No, I'm a psychologist.
Professional in any way and have never espoused yourself or advertised as such. But I am curious about supplements because that is something that I cannot figure out how to find good information about, to trust. I mean, everybody's got a different theory and a different answer and a different...
The people I trust the most, like Howard Jacobson. Do you know Howard Jacobson?
Yes.
Yeah. You mentioned his podcast. He co-wrote a book called Whole, T. Colin Campbell. That's the philosophy that I really believe in personally.
Okay.
For my own supplementation. It's called Whole, just one word.
Okay. Because I do not eat meat and I do not eat dairy. And the only thing that kind of separates me from full veganism is that I will occasionally eat eggs and I also will eat honey, but also in moderation because I don't eat sugar or flour either, or alcohol. And that's pretty much my food plan.
This is not nutritional advice because I'm really not an expert, but
right.
I've read a lot and I don't eat animal foods myself. I take B12 because it's hard to get B12 without an animal food diet. And I take vitamin D I did until I moved to Florida. And now I just make sure I get 20 minutes of sunshine every day. Dr. Furman has a supplement.
Oh, you like Mark Furman?
Not Mark Furman, Joel Furman.
Oh, okay.
Fuhrman. He's got a men's daily. I think he's got a women's daily also. And I trust him. I've kind of looked at the way he evaluates research. And I actually went to his office to visit with his people. And I like his operations. So that's the best I can do is just kind of refer you to people who seem reputable. Yeah. Those two philosophies are contradictory in some ways because Whole really recommends that you get nutrition largely from whole foods. And Dr. Furman does believe in minor supplementation. That's the best I can do with that. I really don't have the expertise to know. So I don't want
right. I did know that you also didn't eat animal products. And I know that the needs of someone who does not eat animal products varies from someone who does.
Yeah. I want to be sure everybody who's listening knows that it's a diet agnostic program.
Right.
The people
I came to that on my own.
Yeah. Because probably half the people we work with are low carb and carnivores and the other half are whole foods people or point counters or calorie counters, and it doesn't matter. I think autonomy is very important in overcoming food addiction, and I think that if you allow your pig to say, oh, gee, that doctor's diet is no good. We're going to have to keep binging on it until we find a better one. You'll be playing the grass is greener game forever, and you never really get control of the pig. So I think autonomously taking ownership of what plan is best for you is a critical part of recovering. Yeah.
Yeah. The coaching program and all of it, it's the diet of your choice. And it works no matter what your personal eating philosophy for yourself is, which is going to vary because people have health issues and allergies and lots of things. And so, again, it does not exclude anybody because it's the diet you pick.
Thank you, Sarah. Is there anything else I should have asked you that I didn't ask you today? Anything else you wanted to get to talk about?
I cannot think of anything. I do appreciate the chance to talk with you. It's been awesome.
You have a very unique perspective. You've very aggressively dug into all of this and thought through how to make it your own. You've integrated it with all the other concepts that you have, and I can tell you've done a lot of soul searching and self-development. And so I think it was a particularly valuable interview. I think that people will really benefit from it. If you'd like to do another one in 6 months, just reach out and we can follow up and figure out what else you figured out.
Can I ask you one more question? I don't think it'll be long.
You could ask me a long one if you want to.
Well, like I said, I finished all the master tasks, and one of them has to do with social pressures, right? And you also covered it in one of the presentations, but the main focus of that was how to deal with somebody's offering you a piece of cake or whatever it may be. They're offering you something that's not food for you, and you're trying to reject it without rejecting them. So you do the alternate love.
The alternate love gift.
That's right.
If my mom offers me a piece of cake when I walk into the house, I say, Mom, you know what? I ate a little too much for lunch. My stomach's a little upset. Could I have some peppermint tea? Give her another way to love you back into the tribe.
Which I think definitely is at the root of a lot of people's food-focused attention towards each other, is they want to be the same. They want people in the tribe to feel like, well, there's continuity between everybody, and that makes everybody comfortable. So my question is, a lot of the social pressures that I get, it's not a lot, but if I get social pressure, it's usually in the form of questioning why I've put what I've put on my plate and why I didn't put something else on my plate, or why did I order that at the restaurant. Autonomy is almost too big of an issue for me, and I bristle at being questioned about what's on my plate. And my first internal thought is, it's none of your business.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to define myself for you through food. I don't want to be defined by food at all. Can I just eat what I eat and I don't ask anybody else about their plate? But
Yeah.
it's like my mother-in-law. Food is a big deal for her, and she's constantly wanting to know what I'm eating and why I'm not eating something else. I don't know how to sidestep that.
When I'm actually at dinner and people are doing that, I'll say, ask me that again after dinner and we'll talk about it. And they never do.
Okay.
They're asking you, but they don't really want to know. They just want to feel okay about what they're having, and they want permission to eat what they're eating. And if you get into a conversation about, well, I don't really believe that dairy is good for you because of X, Y, and Z, then it's like you're putting up the gauntlet, and then a big fight ensues, and then it becomes tempting for your pig to go along with them. And I just sidestep that whole thing.
Okay.
If my sister asks me about it, where do you get your protein? I'll say, well, how much protein do I need? I'll kind of put it back on them.
Okay.
And then I'll ask her, well, how do you know that? Where did you get that information? I'm really curious. Most people, they're asking out of fear, and they have these preconceived notions, and they don't realize that it's been programmed by the advertising industry and the meat and dairy industry. And so I'll ask them, and then sometimes they'll say something I didn't know about, and I'll just turn it into me questioning them. They want to interrogate me, I'm going to interrogate them.
Okay.
And I don't really answer. Because I know they don't want to know.
Well, yeah, I'm not most with the social graces and all. And then if I've already got a hair trigger for something, it's like I can't get creative enough to think of how to handle it.
Sarah, I'm really kind when I ask them questions about it.
Yes.
I don't come from a particular position. I think people can kind of tell I'm a plant-based person, but I don't try to make them feel badly about it. My girlfriend is ketogenic. I just don't believe in that personally at all, but we get along. We get along really well. We don't really challenge each other, and we kind of edge around having conversations about it. But you can have a relationship with someone who doesn't eat exactly like you do. Nothing's going to happen.
Yes, I agree. And I think you're right. They're coming from a place where they really want to feel like maybe they're looking at my plate and my plate, quote unquote, looks healthier, whatever that means. But in their mind, it does. And then now they're feeling weird about what's on their plate and they kind of want me to make them feel better about it. And I think you're right. I just didn't really know how to handle it. And I think the best way, like you said, is sidestep it and just kind of ask to have the conversation another time, which, like you said, never will happen, or ask them questions. And then worst case scenario, you learn something new because they really brought something to the table you didn't know.
And then when you get them talking more, you can look for opportunities to move the conversation in another direction.
Yes.
So they might say, well, my dad says, oh, really? How is your dad?
Yeah.
So you're not in a court of law. You don't have to defend your plate. The police are not going to come and cite you for contempt of court if you can't explain why you don't have meat on your dinner plate.
Yes. All right. Well, I think those are like really good tools for me for social situations where food's brought up. I feel like it's a trick and it's a trap because I'm not bringing it up, but it's going to end up where I'm defending what I have, which is going to feel like I'm attacking anything they're having that I'm not. And I really am not interested in changing anybody else's journey.
The best way to influence people is by example. If they see your skin glowing and your body transforming and your mental attitude changing, your ability to be present with them and smile and look them in the eyes, then they're going to want more of what you have. And over time, there are opportunities where you can influence people. There are people who really do want to know. But I say 85% of the time when they're asking, they really don't want to know. And you have to get good at distinguishing those 10 or 15% of the times. And I think in the first 4 to 6 months, none of us should really be thinking about changing anybody else at all. Let's just get the pig in the cage. Thank you, dear.
Oh, thank you.
Be well. Have a good afternoon.
Bye.
And that brings us to the end of today's broadcast of Defeat Your Cravings, hosted by Dr. Glenn Livingston. Now, if you'd like to find out more about the products and services Dr. Glenn offers to help you dramatically reduce your cravings and stop overeating in 90 days or less, please visit defeatyourcravingscoaching.com. That's defeatyourcravingscoaching.com. Thanks.